The Oakland A's should not move. It makes no sense that the franchise's leadership still has no semblance of a plan despite being at this 4 months and years, really. Hell, the fact Sheng Thao destroyed John Fisher's half-hearted relocation attempts in a single meeting with Rob Manfred underscores just why the A's owner didn't want her speaking with the commissioner in the first place. Liars hate it when someone exposes their lie. And make no mistake, John Fisher, Dave Kaval and company are liars of the highest order, although not particularly good ones. Seriously, the Weekend at Bernie's crew had a more coherent plan than what A's ownership is trying to foist on the public. The team believes it's going to sell 30% of tickets in Las Vegas to tourists and out-of-towners. If that's the case, why even bother having a home at all? That kind of defeats the purpose of being the home team, no? Wait, I have an idea. The Oakland A shouldn't move to Las Vegas, or Salt Lake City, or Austin, or San Antonio, or wherever. John Fisher should make them a permanent traveling team. It's brilliant and accomplishes everything he wants. The Gap Air doesn't have to spend money on pesky things like a new stadium, players, or staff. Not that he has money to spend on those things, mind you. The A's can play home games in the road team stadium. They can still have contests in Las Vegas. They can hit up markets with other franchise, spend some time at its Arizona complex, or go anywhere else they want. Best of all, John Fisher won't have to spend a dime on a new facility. It's his wet dream come to life. Just cut out the middleman of having a stadium or a hometown. Those, unfortunately, are inconvenient concepts that don't really mesh with capitalism. If the goal is to make as much money as possible, go wild with it. Now, some of you are probably saying this doesn't sound very realistic and that it would never be allowed to happen. I counter with this. We're talking about Major League Baseball, an organization that isn't exactly driven by morals or doing what's right. So let's go over why exactly the Oakland A's moving to nowhere just may work. The MLB Commissioner's Office has proven time and time again it doesn't really care what its owners do. John Fisher was allowed to hire some hospitality major to pitch his relocation attempts to the Nevada state legislature. The Houston Astros were allowed to lose games on purpose for 6 years. Marge Schott was dropping N-bombs and being anti-Semitic and letting her dogs poop all over Riverfront Stadium. And all the league could muster for her was a 9-month suspension in 1993. It took Schott praising Hitler during a magazine interview in 1996 for the league to finally step in and do something by removing her. If we're being totally honest here, folks, MLB owners, they have a huge, I would say infinite runway to be dicks. Do you really think other owners would find a traveling team to be all of that embarrassing or bad for the sport? I mean, did you not listen to what I just talked about? MLB owners are fine with other owners acting like douchebags because it gives them the right at some point in time to act like douchebags themselves. Players, of course, would not like the idea of the Oakland A's becoming a traveling team. Honestly, though, their input is not needed here. Major League Baseball has basically given the Players and Players Association a fat double deuce over the past 20 years. The league's contempt for players at this point is barely hidden. That sucks, but it's simply the truth here. Players may not want to play for the traveling A's, but that's also irrelevant too. The A's aren't signing free agents regardless of if they play in Oakland, Las Vegas, nowhere, or the moon. This team isn't going to spend cash just because it has a new stadium. There's actually a proof of concept of that in existence. John Fisher's other team, the San Jose Earthquakes, has routinely been among the MLS's lowest spending sides despite getting a new stadium in 2015. That is a story for another time, but it highlights a very simple fact. It does not matter if players won't sign for the A's because the A's aren't going to sign players anyway. The wandering A's probably wouldn't be a very good ball club. Not that John Fisher or Dave Kaval care about a team being good. That costs money, something they have shown time and again to be adverse to. The A's have won in spite of themselves, and the San Jose Earthquakes had one fluke season in 2012 that has been surrounded by years of awfulness. Folks may be saying fans aren't going to turn up to watch a traveling team. That is just categorically false though. If the A's played their home games against the Rangers in Dallas, people are going to buy tickets. And given what we know about the drawing power of professional sports in underserved markets, the A's would probably draw reasonably well playing in a bunch of AAA parks across the country. More importantly, the lower capacity of these venues allows ownership to jack up ticket prices, something the A's already plan on doing in Las Vegas by having a comically low stadium capacity. This isn't to say 3-game sets against clubs like the Detroit Tigers and Cleveland Guardians would be easy sells, but hell, the A's could just move those to spring training complex sites to minimize costs. The most prominent complaint people have with this concept is that all sports teams need to have a home. Why? Under whose orders? If we're a slave to capitalism, like so many of you in the comments want to remind me, then it's all about making as much money as possible for the lowest capital outlay. Additionally, America is a free country, so why can't an owner do this? It is his or her right to do so as a business owner. Of course, there will be those of you that dismiss this as a really stupid plan. You are absolutely correct. This is a freaking ridiculous, stupid, dumb idea. But is it any dumber than the Oakland A's demanding a stadium be built in Oakland with a bunch of bells and whistles like residential housing, getting that proposal, getting grant money to make it happen, and then deciding they would instead prefer to move to Vegas because it's slightly cheaper and the politicians there are easy to corrupt? As nervous first-time sports radio callers like to say, I'll take my answer off the air. That does it for me. I'm Cheyenne Hollis. This is the Touchback, and hashtag take it out to the 25, but more importantly, John Fisher, sell the team.